Hi guys, so this is part two of my discussion with my friend.
Okay, one day, thank you so much, and thank you for your kind words as well. But one day, the thing is that if we're trying to fix a problem that has, or when you're trying to fix something that has a framework of, like trying to repair a building that the foundation is wrong, you're still going to go back to square one. You're still going to go back to where you started from one day. So, for instance, the nation Nigeria, I understand. I've had the argument that the five governors in the 5 states of eastern Nigeria has to be up and doing. I've had the argument severally. I've been there. Like I don't approve the IPOB model to wanting separation from Nigeria. I don't approve of it, but then I have an understanding of what they want to do, which they're not doing properly. I, for one, feel that the 5 states in the south is to be up and doing. For instance, we don't even have a cosmopolitan city in the whole of the southeast anymore. There's no city. It used to be Aba. Insecurity issues. People are out of Aba. Enugu, Onitsha. Where we don't have a city anymore in the south where you say that you can find everybody, every ethnic group represented in that state or city in the whole of Southeast, and that is as a result of how backward we've been. In fact, we've regressed ever since the war. The best we've been in this country was in the early 50s, where every parastatal in Nigeria, we were running this country, and the country had head then, because we were in charge. And if you were in an Igbo, you were almost like a second-class citizen in a sense. Independence came, there was rift amongst the ethnic leaders we have, because I won't call them nationalists, because the only true nationalists amongst that 4 or 3 that we had was Nnamdi Azikiwe, and then the rest of Nigeria from the point of view of a Yoruba man being Awolowo and the entirety of Nigeria, and Ahmadu Bello and the entirety of, and my people and the entirety of Nigeria. Only Zik saw one Nigeria, and even wanted to incorporate Southern Cameroon into it and all of those things. And hence the reason Zik is even hated by Igbos now, some members of the IPOB. I still feel part of the reason I don't approve Anambra election is that the yearnings, because democracy is a government by how do I put it now? A government by the represented or something like that. I've missed my line of thought. A government by the consent of the represented, something like that. I've missed my line of thought. I still feel that this president has not done enough in trying to calm the situation in the southeast. For instance, election is coming on November 6th. There are security issues. Everywhere is boiling. And then you're saying that you're going to send military troops down to the southeast or down to Anambra to quell whatever IPOB is going to throw at people. That is already making the whole situation worse. That's already endangering the lives of people. The Easterners have been agitating for loads of things, but I do not think that the rest of Nigeria has been very friendly to the East. Nobody has contributed more to the growth of Nigeria than Igbo. With respect to how much we contribute to the GDP and how much business we do that is outside oil. So when you look at that, all of these statistics one day, you find out that we are not getting enough. We're not getting what we should get as a people. And have we done enough internally to put our house in order? No. Part of the reason we've not done enough to put our house in order as a people is because our best hands don't go into politics. That was what I said from the first voice note. I said, our best hands don't go into politics. We get the worst in politics. So, yes, I understand the argument that we need to be part of the process to get the right people to lead. But then we need to repair the foundations and change the mindsets to get people to stop the heat, and then see reasons with them on how we can work together. Because as it stands, the average Igbo man doesn't want anything to do with Nigeria. I tell you this for a fact. The average Igbo man does not want it. And the federal government has given people reasons to believe IPOB. So one solution is really far. And the only one I see inside is fine and good. I don't want destructions of property, and I subscribe to IPOB violent model to finding solutions. But one thing, unless the federal government down tools humble themselves and see Igbos as humans as part of this concussion and not treat us as bad element in the concussion, nothing will be achieved. I don't even want to talk about the Niger bridge that Igbos are paying for. I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about the lack of capital projects in the Southeast. I don't even want to talk about programs that are supposed to curb cultism that is absent in the Southeast, because cultism is ravaging our people. I don't even want to talk about that. That's gangs. I don't even want to talk about that. I know how much the Northeast is received as a result of Boko Haram. Nobody's giving us a dime. So I don't even want to talk about that. So is that... So really, it's dicey. Something has to be done. But if this federal government keeps bullying, we're going to plunge ourselves into another civil war, and that will see the end of Nigeria. Because they keep bullying. I understand everything you've said about the 5 state governors working. We've had the worst. But the political system in Nigeria will not allow our best get into politics. Okay? Even if I try to come out, it doesn't just end at voting. People vote. It does not end at voting. People make these mistakes and say, go and vote. No. The electoral system in Nigeria is fraud. Even if you vote, they will still select who they want to. Even if you say, okay, let us go and vote. People vote. But the electoral system is fraud. There is nothing you can get out of a faulty system. Systems are everything in life. Systems are everything in every society. We need to get the right systems, because this electoral system is fraud. We won't get anything out of it, both as Igbo and as Nigeria.
I must say I'm quite, will I say, I agree with everything he said. I'm stunned really, because there was really nothing wrong in the arguments my friend made mention of, whether it's concerning Biafra, whether it's concerning the Igbo man's agitations, because I'm more Igbo. So I understand when he says what he says, and I understand that as the Igbo tribe, we've been marginalized, we've been stepped down on, we've been kind of left behind in the experiment called Nigeria. But we are like he said, where our point out, or what I'm gonna say is this, right? And like I said, I agree with everything he said, honestly, 100%. My brother, I agree with you 100%. But the issue is this: the IPOB model is wrong for many instances. When you want to use violence, or when you agree to the use of violence, whether indirectly or directly, whether covert or overt, whether willingly or unwillingly, anyhow violence is used in order to achieve a purpose. And the purpose is that you want to create your own Igbo land or your own Biafra. Any use of violence in order to achieve that kind of aim will not get you anywhere. When you say to the Igbo man who is known for being hardworking, or the Igbo woman, right, who is known for Ekoka, for example, our marketplaces, the popularity of the Onitsha markets, the popularity of Abia State, for example, the popularity of Rivers or Imo State, these states that are known for being industrial places in Nigeria. When you tell us to sit at home, not just on Mondays, but you're threatening us that if we don't get what we want, we're going to sit at home for months, probably weeks on end. Then that model is wrong. The foundation of that model is wrong. Today, no sensible person can say they agree with being told to sit at home when they should be out working. Because what you're doing to me, you're claiming to save me as an Igbo man, right? But what you're doing to me in the same vein is that you're hurting me. You're hurting my ability to earn livelihood for my family. You're hurting my ability to feed my friends, my loved ones. You're hurting my ability to be able to send my kids to school. Because when I don't go to work, of course, in that same instance, I can't make money anymore. So that model is wrong. Perhaps, and this is what I'm gonna say. Maybe we need someone else to lead the movement. Maybe, right? Maybe we need a better spokesman than Nnamdi Kanu. Maybe we need a better leader. Because what I think Nnamdi Kanu has done, and I was telling my friend this couple of days ago, I don't believe that when Nnamdi Kanu began leading IPOB, I don't think he began it to see what is happening today. I think somewhere down the road, something happened. Unintended consequences. A Frankenstein's monster, a Hydra, kind of emerged. And it kind of got away from his hand. He couldn't control it anymore. So what I believe is at this point, we are seeing someone's creation, kind of become something that even he himself may not even be able to come to terms with. Oh, what have I done? Because really, if you genuinely believe that you want to save the Igbo man and you want to do right by the Igbo man, then this is the wrong way to go. Yes, Nigeria's foundation may be wrong, and I agree. The way is very, very difficult to put different tribes together. In Nigeria, we have almost 250 ethnic groups. In Delta State, my friend from Delta Progress, he speaks a language that myself in Anambra doesn't understand. And we're literally next neighbors, Anambra and Delta States. I think the same thing applies obviously in the West, a different language, Yoruba. But even in those regions, we have so many languages. So it's incredibly difficult to bring all these people together and say, go live as one as Nigeria. It's very, very hard. I mean, I think the only other democracy, I was listening to one man, I think his name is David Hansen, and he was saying that it was only in America where they have been able to get it right, where you have Latinos, or obviously the original Americans, you have the British, you have the Chinese, you have people from Hong Kong, different cultures all in one place called America, and they are still able to keep it together. So and despite that, they still have their issues of race. Obviously everyone knows what happened to George Floyd last year or 2 years ago. So it's really, really hard to do these things. But this is where we are. We can't at this point say because things are going on, we're not gonna raise up our hands and be like, we're not gonna get involved again. My point is, we're already where we are now. And in order to make Nigeria better, in order to make the Southeast better, which is for me the crux of this conversation, we have to get involved in politics. My friend said this, that the business are not involving themselves in politics, and he's right. And the question is, why not? Why not come out and involve and put yourself forward as a candidate? Why let these people keep on dragging the region backwards? Why keep giving victory to people that they have no interest of the Igbo man at heart? Because, like I said, we practice a democracy, we practice the federal system of government. We can't on our own, as the Igbo man, as the Southeast region, decide on our own to say, you know what, we're going to develop our region. We're going to elect credible governors who are going to do well, who are going to build the best roads, the best schools, the best hospitals. But for some reason, like you said, we are regressing. We are going backwards and backwards and backwards. So the only solution I see is the best hand should get involved. People should come out. If you truly love Nigeria, if you truly love the Igbo man or the Igbo woman, if you truly love our region, come out and get involved in politics. Let's stop putting enough power, enough credence. Let's stop giving them this thing that they don't deserve, which is our say in politics. As young people, and for me, I believe the solution can only come from us, the young people. The honest truth is that this current generation, they failed us. They can't do anything right. All they can do is keep messing things up. No matter who, it's a cycle. Whether come November 6th, and I agree, maybe you're right, that is more of an experiment or more of a distraction. Come November 6th, anyone who's going to come into power come November 6th is going to be the same set of leaders. Manaya Manji Makana, that's the case, and now say we will not come out and vote. My point is, whether or not you vote on that day, come November 6th, come election day, someone is going to emerge as our governor. and it's wrong of us, is naive of us, is I'm kind of looking for a word to use, but it would be childish of us to think that by not getting involved, then we are doing ourselves good. By not getting involved, we are causing ourselves more harm than good. In order to be able to enforce change, you have to be able to drive that change. You have to be able to go out and vote in an election. Whether or not you agree with what's going on, whether or not you believe in Nigeria or not, this is the way it is now. This is the game we are playing, and we have to play by the rules of that game. So, I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm the kind of person that believes in problem solving. You know, that's the department I'm in. You know, I'm not in the department of trying to complain or trying to moan or trying to say, oh this, oh this, oh that. One of the reasons why we began Noble Nigeria is I want us to start having conversations about these issues. I want us to start discussing and kind of start planning, start strategizing on how we can move Nigeria and the Southeast forward. So that's what I believe in. I believe in solution finding. I believe in how can I go out there and try to organize, try to, bring people together and be like, how can we put someone in that when we put someone into power, we know he's going to do well by us. So I hope, other people can do the same as well. I hope we don't give up. I hope we don't throw in the towel. Because no matter what, Nigeria will still be Nigeria. Nigeria will still be our own. Nigeria will keep on existing. And it's up to us to decide to ourselves, let us take Nigeria forward. Let us do good by Nigeria. Let us do good by our Igbo brothers, by our Yoruba brothers. There is a lot of unity in diversity. Yes, we might be different. We might speak different languages. We might want different things in life, but there is unity in diversity, and I believe that as Nigerians we can get it right. Look at EndSARS, for example. It didn't matter whether you're Hausa or Yoruba or Igbo. Everyone came together. That tells you that it's possible for Nigeria to change. It tells you that it's possible for things to get better. So please, wherever you are, join the conversation. Try to organize, try to bring people together, try to get involved in politics. After God is politics. That's the way I see it. The reason why I'm here in the UK is because of politics. If Nigeria were good, I won't be in the UK. That's the honest truth. The reason why you have doctors, engineers, young people living in Nigeria en masse, in their numbers, in thousands really, is because because of politics. If Nigeria were good, believe me, no one would want to be in this country. Look at the Chinese, they come to the UK, after their studies, they go back home. But the Nigerians, we come here, we want to stay forever. No one wants to go back home. So I think it's high time we take politics serious. I think it's high time we get involved. And I hope you join us. I hope you join this movement. I hope you join this conversation. I hope you get involved, and please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share this conversation with your friends, and let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you for listening.